Welcome everyone to another episode of Bozzelli's TV, the most watched, but no, not really, soon to be though, but most interesting wine channel on the internet. Why are we the most interesting wine channel on the internet? Because we consider wine a food. Thank you to this awesome team we have here today. Of course, everyone should know because you faithfully watch this show. Perennial special guest Holly Rocco Feraci of Republic National Distributing Company, top 10 place to work and second largest distributor in the nation, and also the company with a lot of big words in their name.
Woo! Lots of syllables.
Lots of syllables, but you may recognize another superstar at this table because she's a repeat guest on this show. Krystle Atwood of Constellation Brands, a company that we know and love dearly. They own everything. Behind Svedka, Modelo, Corona, Kim Crawford, Charles Smith, The Prisoner. But they're not just a behemoth, publicly traded company worth trillions, but they're also really down to earth. And their company, trillions.
Trillions of dollars.
They are really down to earth, and their company mantra is worth reaching for, and I love that. I really feel it has a communal theme, and we need more of that in this world. And so, speaking of community, Krystle and Holly's wine community is vast, and fortunately, through these awesome relationships that we have, we were introduced to John Richardson today of Constellation Brands, who heads up their fine wine division. So we're looking forward to speaking with John today. And as you know, I always start the show with a very simple question because we are interested in everyone's journey, especially wine drinkers, winemakers, and people in the wine industry, because this is a wine show, despite what you may think. But John, how'd you get your start in the business, and how'd you end up where you are today with this awesome company, Constellation Brands?
My start into the business probably started, when I was like 13 years old. I started working at a restaurant in upstate South Carolina where I grew up. Worked there for like 7 years all through college, and that's really where I first, began to start tasting wines, wine list, learning to sell wines to guests in that time. And right after college, I got a job with the lovely Republic National Distributing Company. Worked with those wonderful folks for about 6.5, 7 years, and then joined Constellation as an on-premise specialist, on-premise state manager for Tennessee about 3 years ago, and then moved to Charlotte about 10 months ago, and now do our fine wine and craft spirits division for North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, and West Virginia.
Wow.
Tell us about your time on Broadway. Well, Nashville Broadway, not musical Broadway. Not to be confused.
Well, I was a Rockette.
Not to be
You were a Rockette.
Yes.
We want to know. What does that mean? Like, no, seriously.
He worked the Nashville market. He was downtown.
She was saying
like
Broadway.
Broadway.
One of the coolest markets right
now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's
coolest.
It's exploded. I mean, there are just people everywhere at all times. That downtown street is just a collection of people from everywhere. It's, nonstop party. You can go there at like Tuesday at 10:30.
In Nashville.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to do a vlog.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we need to do a vlog.
Krystle and I will be there in August. We can get her to do the vlog for us.
Really? So you'll know where we should go? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I'm up for it. Vlog, guys, coming to you.
Coming to you from Nashville.
So Krystle's here. She's she just broke 600 views. We broke 1,000 views on some shows. We could do a lot better with smashing that like button. And if you really want to be nice, turn on notifications. I just have to add these call to actions, John.
Very shameless.
So starting the restaurant biz, worked at distribution level, now working with a supplier.
Yeah.
So how many years total in the wine biz then?
This November will be 10 years since I started with R&DC. And then it was, 7 years in the restaurant prior to that. Some of that was just bussing tables, but then worked in the kitchen for a couple years, then host, waited tables, bartend, kind of, just all aspects of every part of that restaurant. So.
How would you describe your wine palate?
My palate? Good, decent, not great.
Give yourself some credit.
Probably better than I would give my credit. Better than I give myself credit for, but there are certainly people out there with much better palates than me. But I enjoy it. I love.
fact, women have better taste.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
True.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. And what would be your favorite varietal?
Favorite varietal is probably Pinot Noir, which we're going to have a little bit of
Oh,
today.
okay. I thought you were going to say Chard because that would have been the perfect segue. But with Chard in our glasses.
Have I told you how much I enjoy Chardonnay?
I want to hear all about it.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
what are we
That's
tasting?
my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The Simi Chard. So, okay, we know nothing about Simi.
Yes.
I know nothing about Simi, but I'm dying to know because Krystle said a lot in the preliminary. So what can you tell us about Simi?
There is so much to learn about Simi. So Simi is actually the longest continually operating winery in Sonoma County. So two brothers, Giuseppe and Pietro Simi, they came to California in the 1840s.
Wait, are they Italian?
They are.
Yes! Woo!
DJ Pauly D right now.
Pew, pew, pew.
That's awesome. That saves me like 5 seconds worth of editing or adding that special effect. John, you have an open invitation. I don't extend those open invitations usually to the end of the show after a lot of wine, but you just earned it in the first 5 minutes, John.
He has done that before.
Once or twice.
Okay. Yes, we need that every time we introduce an Italian winemaker because Italy has done so much, Italians have done so much for wine, and all you guys want to do is drink Cali Cabs, but not today. We're drinking.
That is
Cali
correct.
Cabs.
They always do this to me. They just love to like rain on my parade. Okay, no, but this is from Sonoma though.
Correct, Sonoma County.
Cool.
So 18. They came in the 1840s. Can you guess what they were coming to California for in the 1840s?
Gold.
Gold. They didn't find any. Bad for them, lucky for us. So they started the Simi Winery in 1876. They ran that. They built a beautiful stone cellar in the late 1800s, and then in 1904, the stone cellar opened, but both Giuseppe and Pietro died within 3 weeks of each other from influenza. At the time, the only heir to it was Isabella Simi, Giuseppe's daughter. She was 18 years old at the time. And she took over all operations of the winery. Of course, at that time in the United States, women didn't have a right to own land, didn't have a right to own a business, didn't have a right to vote, but still through her management processes, kind of off the books and whatnot, she ran everything right up until Prohibition. Prohibition hits, Isabella thinks it's going to just be a little blip on the radar, decides she's going to keep making wine through sacramental and medicinal ways, loopholes. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. And throughout Prohibition, it lasted much longer than she expected. 14 years. She starts slowly selling off some of the vineyards, but still making wine at the property. Sold off quite a bit of the vineyards just to maintain the property and the wine on hand. So in order to make wine, you had to be a head of household, a man, and you could produce up to 200 gallons a year. Well, she wasn't a man, but she had 75 men who worked for her, and so she gave them grapes and allowed them to store their wine in her cellar. So when Prohibition was repealed, she had 10,000 bottles of wine, perfectly aged, ready to go. Nobody else in California had anything like it, and that's kind of where Simi really got their jump start, was in 1934 with her vision to kind of keep the winery going through Prohibition. Through 1933. Then in 1934, she opened the first tasting room in Sonoma County. She took a 25,000 gallon redwood tank, threw it on its side, cut a hole in the roof, and opened up the tasting room. The legend is that a lot of people weren't stopping, and she just went out to the road with a tray of wine and started flagging people down and waving them on into the tasting room. But
I love this story.
Yeah,
Female,
the original woman of wine.
The original woman of wine. Touche. Wow. I was going to say
awesome. Like
female visionary.
Yeah.
That as well.
And
What
the struggle.
courage she must have had at a time, like literally at a time when women had zero rights to take that on and be successful.
Now does Simi highlight this?
Outsmarted everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much. And since Isabel, there's still been a long-standing history of influence on female winemakers at the property.
Wow.
So she ran the winery until 1970, at which point she sold it, but she still worked in the winery until 1981 when she passed away at 95 years old. So she ran until 1970. In 1973, they hired the very first enology grad from California.
UC Davis.
I don't think she went to UC Davis.
No, they all go to UC Davis.
Most of them do, yes. But Marianne Graff was the first woman graduate of enology out of California, and she ran the winemaking process for about 6 or 7 years, and then Zelma Long came in like 1981, I want to say, or maybe 1979, and ran it for another 21 years. Director of winemaking. Paul Hobbs actually worked for her for a short little bit too under Zelma, and then there was a little bit Steve Reeder time where was ran by a man, but still had assistant winemakers who were female. And then from there, Susan Luker ran it for another 15 years or so. And then as of 2019 vintage and kind of getting to where these wines are now, Melissa Stackhouse of Maomi, J Vineyards, and La Crema fame is now our director of winemaking. So always an influence on a female-driven winemaker, female-driven property. Something that we really like to highlight at Simi.
Absolutely, and I have a feeling you're going to get a call from now National Organization of Women, because I love that introduction, highlighting everything that this visionary went through to female to start this company under those circumstances. Wow. Okay. So this is the women's empowerment show today. I love it.
Led by John Richardson.
Led by John. Led by a man. Someone call now. Someone call now.
Love it.
Did I get in trouble for that?
No, you didn't. You did not. No, absolutely not.
John is just enlightened.
I love it.
What do we have next, John?
Well, let's talk about the Chardonnay quick.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Chardonnay.
Oh, we talked about Isabel.
Hollies are.
Yes. What should we smell in the nose?
This is just it's a beautiful wine. I mean, we often throw out the word balance, but it really is real here in the sense of the fruit, the acid, the oak, all being put together nicely and just being, crisp, refreshing for a Chardonnay. I mean, this is really, for your oaky, buttery Chardonnay lovers out there, you get all that. But you get a refreshing kind of brightness to the Chardonnay where, in the summertime, this is not too heavy, right? So
there's no food required.
Yeah.
Just sit on the front porch, have a glass or 5.
Mouth watering.
Yeah.
With salty cheeses and
This is exquisite.
It
really is.
So it's
really
from Sonoma Coast. We're just like 10 miles from the Pacific Ocean. Really cool mornings and evenings. Gets hot in the day. About like 48 in the morning up to like 92 in the evening. So big diurnal range. Just perfect area for Chardonnay to grow.
And I think the operative word is bright. And refreshing. And refreshing. I know this is not
honey note too.
Yeah, honey note too. It's a bouquet, but I know this is not a. You can't sell this. I mean, it's worth I think $30 a bottle, retail. Oh my God! Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I think high 20s.
We're gonna do the limbo.
High 20s. I think high 20s.
I knew it because yes, it's got at least a $30 flavor profile. But on this show, you get deals. That's why you should watch.
CaseWineLife.com.
CaseWineLife.com. Yeah, if we could sell it anywhere between 25 and 29, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Delish.
Yeah, absolutely.
John, you have to tell the rosebush story.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. So Isabel kept a rose garden on property, and she planted a new rose bush for every president of the United States, except for one, Herbert Hoover, who instituted Prohibition. She did not really like Herbert Hoover, and he kind of got wind of this story over in Washington, D.C., and mailed her a rose bush to plant in her garden. What do you think she did with it?
Threw it in the trash.
She mailed it back to him.
Badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Badass.
Exactly.
Good for her.
Mailed it back to Herbert Hoover.
Herbert Hoover was a very stuffy, uptight president.
The vacuum guy, right?
Yeah, no, not the vacuum guy. But a little known fact about Herbert Hoover, he would suit up every night in a tux for dinner. Hailing back to like aristocratic days when they did that, like on Downton Abbey, Yeah, very
little
stuffy.
full of himself.
Little full of himself
Yeah.
and totally out of touch with America.
Yeah.
So no more Herbert Hoover. So we're riding with Biden these days. So either way, we're not political on this show. But so what should we smell in the nose, Holly?
Ooh.
This Pinot Noir, I mean, you can smell
Strawberry right off the bat for me.
Strawberry, plum,
I love the
beautiful
color.
bouquet.
spice. Yeah, you get all kinds of things in this.
Raspberry, cranberry.
Cranberry for sure.
Russian River.
Pomegranate.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So Russian River fruit here. optimal Pinot Noir characters. So we do have some estate fruit in here from the Fox Run Vineyard, and then we also so Melissa. So we haven't made a Pinot Noir at Simi in a couple of years, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on in the history and wanted to get back to. And Melissa, with her prior history at Jay and Meiomi and La Crema, really has a strong Sonoma Pinot Noir background, and with that came her contacts and friends who farm these properties. So she's really close with the Dutton family, and so we're able to get some great fruit from the Duttons, from the Dutton Ranch, and all these gold-rich soils that Russian River Valley is known for. Real just sandy loam, well-drained soils. They say it kind of looks like the surface of the moon. Just perfect conditions for Pinot Noir, and I think that really delivers and shows here in the glass.
And this Dutton family, do they just grow grapes?
So they do have their own line, Dutton family wines, but predominantly they are farmers. Their brands.
But it's if you for Dutton Ranch, that vineyard. For those of you who like either really beautiful Chardonnays that are rich but good acidity, like we had just a moment ago, or like the really nicely balanced, beautiful fruit, nice spice, good acidity Pinot Noir. There are some amazing big name wines that are much more expensive than these that come out of Dutton, and so you probably are, if you really like these style of wines and you're sort of a connoisseur of these wines, you've probably had Dutton wines, you've probably enjoyed them many times and not realized it, and that's one of the amazing things about this wine is that you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it, and yet you're drinking that same style.
What is the alcohol content?
Like 14
Yeah.
14 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got a very long finish. And
It's very elegant though. You get a burst of fruit in the beginning. It's nice and mouth-watering on the palate, and then you're right. It's got a really long finish with kind of more of those like spices and.
How long has this bottle been open?
Just
a
a
couple hours, yeah.
Yeah.
And I did make one mistake there. I said the Fox Run Vineyard. That's actually the cab. We're coming from the Goldridge Vineyard or Goldfield Vineyard as our estate.
Dutton Goldfield, yeah.
Dutton,
Yeah.
And are we tasting according to Bruce Neyer's guidelines right now?
No, we are not.
And what are Bruce Neyer's guidelines?
Okay,
Holly?
so there's a couple different schools of thought in terms of tasting. So we are tasting in what we call a progressive order right now, which is the most common order. And in this way, you're kind of going from sort of lighter to more bold in that order. And so that's definitely, so we have the white wine, and then we have a Pinot Noir, which definitely medium body, and then we have our big tannic cab, right? Muscular cab. And so the sort of Neyer school of thought, another school of thought in terms of tasting, is that you would place the Pinot Noir after the Cabernet because the Pinot Noir has esters in it. So Pinots, you get this sort of really bright fruit. And so that school of thought believes that that you want to put that last because it might impact the way you taste a wine that has tannin or bigger tannins, fuller bodied. There's no right or wrong. It's kind of like what you, what you espouse, what you believe. But this is definitely the way that most people do it in this particular order.
Okay. But because Bruce watches this show, let's put the Pinot Noir on the end.
He told me last week.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, okay.
My man Bruce. Let's put the
Hey,
Pinot Noir on
Bruce.
the end,
Yep.
and we'll revisit it.
We could revisit after. and
Yes,
see what
because
we
it's
think.
so delicious.
Yes. So and
You like that?
fun.
You like that,
Yeah.
Christy? That's how we sell wine here.
You are so smart, Mike. You are so smart.
We invoke Bruce Neyer's name so that we can taste it again because it's really good. No,
Then
it-
there's some of us that just like
we
to
love
drink.
Bruce. We love Bruce. We love Bruce.
of course, the god of Chardonnay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just don't tell the Black Stallion folks. But oh wait,
Mike's, we
Oops.
just did a bomb. We just did a bomb here. We hit your like button. Black Stallion Chardonnay, Mike's favorite Chardonnay.
it is Mike's favorite
It
Chardonnay. I don't think it's a Constellation brand though.
It is not.
It's okay. We have
It's
friends
nice.
all over.
No, you have friends all over, but okay, so that Chardonnay, the Blackstone Chardonnay, is like an everyday drinking Chard.
Mm-hmm.
We just recently tasted on a show the Kenny G Chard, which we will
We
unveil
did.
to you shortly.
Coming shortly.
That is still being edited. The guy who's in charge of
Wait,
editing
and
is
we
a
had
huge
we
procrastinator.
also had the Van Halen Eruption Chardonnay.
We also had the-
same
Wow.
show.
on the show. But
Yes.
this
Sounds like a
show,
mouthful.
I know, right?
this is your. But I think the Simi Chard is the ultimate poolside Chard, and not your public pool. I'm like thinking Miami.
Like Country Club Miami.
Yeah,
pool.
yeah, Country Club Miami pool.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider this worth reaching for if I was
Or your Nantucket.
yes, it is.
On the boat in
On the boat,
Nantucket.
yeah.
Yes,
but without being
yes.
pretentious. But without
No,
being
no,
pretentious.
it's chill there. It's chill.
For under $30, I think that's pretty accessible. We are conscientious of price too. But yes, this would be your Nantucket Miami Country Club.
Just really nice, well
What else?
balanced, delicious Chardonnay.
Range Rover Shark. Okay.
The only time I get to go to a country club is when I have to work. So.
Okay, but we talk trash about Cali Cavs, but we respect them nonetheless because of the vineyard teams that work so diligently in the fields. So we're anxious to taste this Cali, and especially it's coming from a female winemaker, Isabella Simi. And is that Isabel? Oh no,
That was no.
Hope not.
Isabel's no longer with us. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Isabel.
I broke the rule.
I mean, if that was Isabella, then we would get like 17 million views.
Yeah. Oh yes. But we don't want to forget
Hi,
all.
Isabel.
We do not want to forget this woman's contribution.
Wait, she was telling me that I should not forget to tell the peacock story. Wasn't there like a peacock story?
think
Was there a
that's-
peacock story?
You tell the peacock story.
We got a Rosebush story, a Peacock
We got a
story, a
Peacock
Slim
story.
Jim story. What else we got?
There's an Alfred Hitchcock story.
Yeah?
Okay, bring it all.
Okay, well, so Isabel, when she sort of retired from all of the day-to-day duties, she would work in the tasting room that she started.
God bless her. Roll her sleeves up too.
and-
And
Yeah.
worked in the tasting room up until she died.
Until she died, yeah. And so, I'm sure a lot of people that kind of went through there had no idea who this woman was, right? Like, that's kind of the cool thing. And it's like, this is Simi. And so, she'd be at like the cash register, and she was the only one who could work the cash register as people would come through and do their purchases, because they had a pet peacock at the winery, from what I understand. And if anybody else but Isabel touched the cash register, the peacock would come over and like have a fit and start like pecking at them, right? And it's like, so, she was the only one who could work the register.
Who has a pet peacock?
Isabel.
Isabel.
Not proud.
Badass.
Michael
She
Jackson had a
also-
pet monkey. Pet
She'd
peacock.
also wear these very
Flare.
flare buttons that were
What's a
great-
flare button?
You ever
You
seen
know,
Office
TGI
Space?
Fridays.
Jennifer Aniston's
Okay,
character?
good.
Office
Buttons.
Space. She'd wear, and she had, I mean, I can send you a picture so you can flash it
Yeah,
up, but
yeah.
she'd have
Thank
ones
you.
that were,
Like, I like Ike.
borderline political,
Yeah,
and
like
then
all those
also
kind
a
of
little
buttons, right?
inappropriate, but funny.
Yeah.
Such a personality.
And she'd wear like 45 of them.
I'm with Nick Nolte.
Yeah, right, probably.
All right.
I heard this amazing story the last time I was there, which was just before pre-COVID.
No
where
invite.
in a picture they have in the winery, where she built the first tasting room by putting the barrel on its side, there was this sign on a piece of wood that said quality wines. And they hadn't had that sign, and one of the workers at the winery was at a flea market in
was actually
Northern
his son.
California, or his son, okay, and was at a flea market, and he sees this sign. He's like, this looks familiar, I've seen this somewhere. So he ends up buying it, bringing it back to the winery, and they kind of compare it to the picture. And it is the sign
That was
from
on top of the original
that
Riddler.
just,
That is
I mean,
so cool.
talk about coincidence.
Yeah,
and
that is so
things
cool.
happening for a reason. Really
I
cool.
want 1,000
really
likes
cool.
just for that. And she didn't even use her fake French accent.
Not cute.
But if you want to hear
That
her
was not
cute French
cute.
fake accent, I need
Oh,
1,000 likes. That's
yeah.
not free.
Oh,
at least likes or notifications, something.
You can go to the other episode and
8.
hear the French accent.
Episode 8, she will employ this very cute fake French accent because she, in the story of another one of Constellation's amazing brands, my favorite neighbor's Paso Robles cab, not to be confused with all the Napa cabs. I learned that lesson the hard way.
You're a quick learner, Mike.
Yeah, I am a quick learner, but this cab is delicious. This
is
cab,
Alexander Valley.
Yeah. What is special about Alexander Valley, Christy?
Well, this is the John show.
John,
go ahead, John.
What is special about Alexander Valley?
So you're just going to get a different flavor profile than your typical Napa cabs here.
Totally.
I would say, you're saying you're not a huge Cali cab guy. I bet you like this more than your typical.
I do like this. That's why. What's going on in Alexander Valley? Do I need to pitch a tent up there and like move there now? Like.
So
then you wouldn't have Holly's house to do that.
No, because I love this cab. I want to move there now. I'm a big proponent of the tiny home movement. Maybe I just take my tiny home and go there.
There's still plenty of fruit here, but you're also, getting a really nice balance, really beautiful tannin structure. Just overall, exceptionally balanced wine.
So fragrant. I want to use this as deodorant. I'm sorry. Raleigh, what am I tasting? Oh, smelling on the nose.
You would smell really good if you use this.
No, yeah. What am I smelling on the nose here? I'm thinking you remember the cologne Yope? Joop?
No.
It was really nice. That was my go-to in high school.
It smelled like Simi Alexander Valley cab.
It's.
We'll make a new scent. We'll call it Isabel.
But it had a red ball.
There you go.
Bell.
So, you get all your big red and black fruits in here. Raspberry, blackberry,
vanilla?
Nice brown. Yeah, you get some nice vanilla in here.
96% French oak used here with a little bit of American oak, but definitely that vanilla.
I definitely get the vanilla, the most universally liked flavor in the world, vanilla.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with vanilla.
No.
Lots of spice on
this.
this too.
Good spice in here.
Yeah, beautiful. Like a little, maybe like white pepper there on the back end.
So well integrated. What is alcohol content on here?
I think 15, 14.
14.5.
It doesn't taste like that at all. It's highly drinkable. Wow.
The tannins are really soft. I mean, they're big, but they're softer and small.
That's
they don't knock you.
Yeah.
They don't punch you in the face. They're
velvety.
That's the beauty of Alexander Valley within Sonoma, because if you look at a scale, right, you could have maybe cool climate Cabernet, more cool climate like Bordeaux kind of over here, right? And then if you want to talk about warmer climate, maybe Paso's all the way over here, Napa's kind of over here. I mean, we have some pretty big, heat spikes in Napa, depending on where you are in Napa, but but Sonoma's really kind of in the middle. You got Bordeaux and Napa, and in between the two, you'd have Sonoma, right? So Alexander Valley is probably in between Sonoma and Napa would be Alexander Valley. So you have more acidity than you might have in your Napa cab, unless you're talking about mountain elevation. But Alexander Valley is the muscle of Sonoma. So this is the brawn of Sonoma. And so you get this the big fruit, the big structure of this wine, but you have beautiful acidity as well to really balance that out. So that's what's amazing about Alexander Valley.
Perfect food wine too here with that acidity and those tannins.
Pair with anything. I'm so pleasantly surprised, and not to sound redundant, this is such a pleasant Cabernet.
Is this your new favorite?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
If like I said, if there was a new favorite on a previous episode, I stand by that. But at this moment, I don't recall making that statement. So this is my new favorite. Okay. No, this truly is my new favorite. Established in 1876 by a badass woman. Took it over from her husband, who unfortunately died of influenza. Father and uncle unfortunately died of the lone daughter. God bless her. During Prohibition, fighting that stuffy asshole Herbert Hoover, and just turned this winery into this behemoth. Awesome. I love the traditional labeling too. It kind of reminds me of a lot of Italian labels, Montepulciano and Brunello labels, very, very minimalist.
The winery was originally called the Montepulciano Winery of California.
That is so dope! This is my new favorite cab. That sold it. Story sells.
Yeah.
We love lore. We love story. You have to tell a story. You have to talk about wine. That's why we started this show, because Holly, myself, John, Christy, we all are interested in wine.
So the winery is right in Healdsburg within Alexander Valley, and the Simi brothers thought it reminded them of Tuscany. So that's why they settled there, where they were from.
They were Northern Italians.
Yes.
Very interesting.
And so they ran it as Montepulciano Winery of California for a while, realized that a lot of people in America didn't know how to pronounce that, went with their last name and rolled with Simi thereafter.
No, I get it. The 4 letters a lot easier and truncated to pronounce. Yeah, I get it. But if it was a Montepulciano, they'd have every dollar I ever made.
They still can.
There you go. They will definitely have our support on CaseWineLife.com. They'll be up there shortly. What is the price point, just generally on this, for our viewership in our Case Wine Life?
About 30, yeah.
$30.
30-ish.
Okay, so I have tasted $50, $60 bottles of wine on this show.
Absolutely.
This can go toe to toe with any of those.
Well, because it's your favorite.
Because it's my favorite, it really is, and there's a lot of finesse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great deal for Alexander Valley.
There's a lot of finesse and nuance in that wine. My palate, I'm Lainey's palate. She's the budding master of wine. Christy and you guys are the wine
professional drinker,
the professional wine business, authorities. But as a layperson, I can tell there's a lot of nuance and finesse in that bottle.
This will stand up with any of these bottles you're talking about in that $50, $60 range. Higher than that, it really over-delivers for the value.
So, John, as part of your job, so you do a lot of on-premise, I guess, support right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Particularly now as it's coming back. Steak.
Thank you, sir. Steakhouses.
Yeah, I mean ribeye.
So how do you do in steakhouses with this baby?
So we just relaunched this wine about 6 months ago, but as restaurants are reopening, we're presenting it. It's going great. I personally love this wine with a ribeye. That little bit of extra fat cap, these delicate tannins, that acidity, it just kind of tears through that fat, and just a beautiful pairing.
Why was there a hiatus between vintages?
Well, this is kind of a restructure. This appellation series is new. This is the first vintage for this iteration of all of these wines.
First vintage, guys. Okay, so would this be like an investment bottle?
Yeah, this would age, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
100%.
Has ageability?
It's got great acid, it's got good tannin,
Absolutely.
it's got good alcohol.
Okay, no,
It
but
could absolutely age us.
Yeah,
So-
I would think it'd be probably at its peak there in like that 7 to 9 year range on this one, but could go a little bit further, but I'd probably pull the cork within that 7 to 9 range. I wouldn't go more than 3 to 5 on the Chard, and probably about 6 or 7 on the Pinot.
Okay, understood. And now, Holly, when customers approach investment bottles, like, what are you looking for?
So what makes a wine ageable, whether it's a white or, well, generally speaking, for red wines, it's acid and tannin. Those would be, your two biggest elements. If you have both, then those wines will lay down and age for decades. I mean,
That's why your Italian wines are so ageable.
Exactly.
Good acid,
yeah.
and tannin.
Acid and tannins, fruit. You have that whole package. They're going to age. Chardonnays, obviously white wines don't have tannin, but if you have really nice bright acidity and good fruit when it's youthful, then you can age it for a good 3 to 5 years. Chardonnays, don't be afraid to, if you're like, oh, I bought some Chardonnay and oops, I forgot about it, and it's like, like 3 or 4 or 5 vintages old. Sometimes, you can open those bottles and they're going to be gorgeous. So Chardonnays develop really nice, what the French call noisette, so like nutty flavors, and it's amazing.
Bordeaux.
It can be just like
Oh, I'm sorry, you said
Chardonnays.
French Burgundies.
Honey.
Not just Burgundies, but like this wine would just develop those honey notes,
Nutty,
and just get a little richer on the fruit and get that nice those nutty flavors. Tasting aged Chardonnays is just it is definitely kind of an awakening.
So I was gonna buy some meme stocks on Robinhood after this, but I think I'm gonna buy some Simi cabs. So all you Robin Hood guys.
Yes.
What's your favorite meme stock?
AMC, of course, GameStop, and I'm a big Dogecoin Dogecoin proponent. Dogecoin to the moon.
Yeah,
doubt.
you had an article. You take that, right, for currency at
Yes,
Bozzelli's
yes,
Pizza
yes.
Shop.
Dogecoin for the people.
Yeah.
Yes, we believe that Dogecoin represents, it's the ultimate protest against disenfranchisement, against the elites. And this show is about being for the people. We meet with companies that are for the people, like Constellation Brands, that make wines.
Like Isabel Simi, who
Isabel
threw that
Simi.
rose bush back at Herbert Hoover.
God bless her. Yeah, that's the ultimate protest right there.
Right.
Sending a president like a gift back. Mad props, Isabel.
Yeah.
God bless you in your transition. How long has this been part of the Constellation family?
1999.
Okay, was this an acquisition or is this a partnership?
I believe at the time it was an acquisition.
It was a very smart, and to support these female winemakers in what Krystle
continuing that legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And Krystle has told us that Constellation doesn't approach acquisitions in a very hostile manner. They really want to just lend their capital to help these amazing people and these amazing women broaden their reach. And so that's really awesome about Constellation. They don't meddle in the business after they acquire stuff. And they kind of
well, it's always business, but when things are going well, you don't want to mess with what's doing well.
Yeah.
So they want to keep the wine style the same. They just want to give more resource.
Broaden the reach.
That is
that is awesome.
Increase scalability.
Yeah, that's awesome about Constellation. They truly mean it, and they have supported a lot of black-owned businesses. Particularly a rosé that is just female rosé that's killing it right now. La Fête du Rosé. That is on casewinelife.com. La Fête du Rosé by Donné Burston, formerly from Vouv and Dom. Awesome black winemaker.
Donné a couple weeks ago. It was amazing.
You did?
Yeah, we had. Yeah.
Nice.
No invite again. But
I know, right?
Yeah, we support Donné.
They're employees only.
Yeah, okay. We support Isabel and her legacy. We support Constellation. John, is there anything that our viewership needs to know in the pipeline at Simi? The cool kids watch our show, so they would like to know.
Pipeline, I think this is so. In addition, in this appellation series, we do have a Russian River Chard that you could look out for, and our, of course, single vineyard Landslide Cabernet. So Landslide is about 137 acres vineyard that we own. There's actually a little bit of Landslide fruit in the Alexander Valley, and then everything that is in the Landslide comes from 100% from Landslide. So there's 5 different soil types that was actually created by a landslide. So this landslide
I love the name.
right through the Alexander Valley. This landslide came through 5 different soil types, starting from north to south. We grow all 5 Bordeaux varietals there. Landslide itself is kind of a blend. We label it Cab. It is over 75% Cab, but there is Malbec, Petit Verdot, Cab Franc, Merlot, all in there, all in that vineyard. So be on the lookout for those as well.
Do you say Petit Verdot or Petit Verdot?
I say Petit Verdot.
Okay, it's cool.
And then we have the Simi Sonoma tier, which is great everyday drinking wines. That's at casewinelife.com.
Okay.
That price point.
Is Landslide on the market at the moment?
Is it here yet?
Yeah,
yes,
we
it's
have
here.
Okay, we need Landslide.
You need
With
Landslide.
a name like Landslide, Mudslide, I'm thinking, Rocky Road? I don't know.
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
Absolutely.
Stevie Nicks, yes.
John Denver.
John Denver. Country Road. Yes, we need more John Denver. We need more Landslide in our lives, people. That is so awesome. Maybe we could do a Landslide tasting. That'd be great. John, you have an open invitation. You earned that in the first 5 minutes with your DJ Pauly D. So I can edit that little pause.
That pause, yes.
I got you, brother. But thank you for making yourself available today.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Krystle, for this
Fun as always.
Introduction to your colleague here.
I'll get a buzz at
It's a
noon
pleasure.
today.
There she goes. And thank you to Holly, Rocco, Feraci, Republican National Distributing, and of course our friends at Constellation Brands. All these wines will be available at casewinelife.com. Free shipping on most cases, and we have case discounts. And if you don't want to buy them from us, we don't care because we really enjoy these wines.
No, we really do care.
CaseWineLife.com. Like, comment, share.
We want you to enjoy this experience on Bozzelli's TV, but we are an avenue for you guys to purchase from us. And we're happy to help with anything. Of course, Holly is, Krystle, and John. Amazing, resourceful people here. So drink responsibly.
Salud.
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 Like, comment, share.
Thank you, brother.
Notifications.
Notifications. Yes, thank you. Yes, we need a pay to go to Nashville.